Let me reintroduce myself, as I see that a lot of people have started following me here lately. So, my name is Madam Ugo, the convener or the tutor for No Parlons Français. I started this journey almost 10 years ago, and I would like to start first by giving you a brief overview of my background. That way, you will appreciate the fact that anybody actually can learn French and be successful at it. I hold a BSc degree in statistics and also a master's degree in marketing specialization. Over the years, I've worked as a senior marketing executive. As a matter of fact, I used to be the regional channel marketing manager for one of the biggest OEMs in the world that revolutionized instant messaging years ago. At the time, the company folded up. I wanted to transition into another role, but of course with another North American company. And it was at that point that the decision to learn French started making an impression in my mind. And the reason being that I had attended an interview for a job that was highly contested. Incidentally, I didn't get the role because I wasn't French bilingual, despite the fact that I was actually more qualified than my contemporary for that role at that time. This is based on the feedback that I got from the hiring manager. At that point, I decided to learn French. And on top of that also, the desire to leave my home country and then to go to Canada to explore other opportunities also started making very great impression on her. And I made up my mind to go learn French language. Now, fast forward, I had mentioned earlier that I hold a first degree in statistics, and all through my academic years in the university, it has always been about research and coming with a mathematics background. I kind of used and leveraged those soft skills in learning French, as I had a knack for identifying patterns, and as a result, I inculcated all of those skills in my learning journey while I was learning French. But I must mention something here. I am not a first class student, and I would not say also that I am a genius. Apart from that, but one thing I can say is that I have very stubborn resilience, and that has helped me a lot in life to achieve my goals. And I say this to the extent that anything that I commit my mind to do, so long as it is something that I know would facilitate my personal growth and development, I always give it my all. I always give it my best. And at the time I was learning French, it was not easy and it was not convenient. But because I had the mindset that it was my only option, because at the time I had calculated my comprehensive writing score on the Canadian Express Entry profile, and I saw that the cutoff point at that time, based on all of my factors, both my age, my work experience, my educational factor, and all of those stuff, wouldn't be able to give me enough points to get the invitation to apply to be a Canadian permanent resident. And the only option I had was just to go learn French and add French as a second language in order to boost my comprehensive ranking score. And that was what pushed me into learning French. Another question: how were you able to learn French despite the fact that you lived in a country where English was the official language and you have been successful at it? Like I said before, my maths background gave me that advantage. But on top of that, I had also mentioned earlier that I have a knack for identifying patterns. And here is one shocking thing. I discovered when I conducted a small research that most of the words that we actually use in English were borrowed from French. And when I started studying about language civilization, it came to my realization that French as a language is actually older than the English language civilization, and the reason why we have a lot of English words that were actually borrowed from French. And see, did you know that most of the words that we have in French that end with tion are practically almost the same thing in English. You have production, the same thing in English. Production, English, in French, production. We come to verbs. Most verbs we use in English that end with ate, in French, they are almost practically the same thing. We have communicate, in French is communicate. You can actually take out time to look at more of this. And we go to the other side as well for the nouns. You have the nouns in English that end with ity. In French, they are practically almost the same thing. They end with e, with an acute accent. So these are some of the things that I discovered while learning French. I leveraged on that, committed myself to it, was very intentional about it, and today we are here. So I am using myself as an example to encourage anybody out there who is still wondering whether it is possible to learn French as an adult and be successful at it. You can look at me as a reference point and be convinced that it is indeed possible to learn French and be successful at it as an adult. The next question I get is how I got into tutoring. So I would say that it is more like a serendipity. At the time, I had gone to do my exam and my result came out, and it was a very brilliant result in that I made C's all through. One of my colleagues at the time saw my result and she was grappling with a topic for some months, and she approached me to help her teach her the topic she was struggling with at the time. And she spent just 30 minutes with me. And the next thing she said to me was, if she could spend just 30 minutes and I was able to break down what she has been struggling to understand for the past month, then I should actually be teaching people French. Before I knew it, she brought 10 of her friends. And today, here we are. From that time till now, during the time of COVID, I have taught over 3,500 people French, many of whom have succeeded in all the endeavors they wanted to use the French language for. So, if you are still wondering whether it is possible for anybody to learn French as an adult, please always make reference to Madame Ugo. I did it. You can also do it. And if you're interested in joining my new beginners class that just started on the 1st of August, there is still an opportunity for you to catch up with us as we start our official lesson 1 this weekend. Alternatively, you can also be on our waiting list for the cohort that will commence in October. Until I see you in my next video, it's goodbye from here. Au revoir.